All right, starting with you. Now we're talking some basketball. Now we're talking the fun stuff. Yes, that which we all love. Who should Westbrook be pushing more? Is it Anthony Davis or is it Westbrook?
I think he can do both. I don't know why. Look, Russell Westbrook is the ultimate competitor. By the way, Russell Westbrook did call Anthony Davis the ultimate weapon, Stephen A. Right? And let's talk about what happened to AD last year. Missed 36 games due to injuries. But I want you to know something about AD. AD has a talent to be one of the best to ever do it.
Yes.
But last year, career low in rebounds, fewest blocks, field goal percentage, and free throw line percentage. 21.8 points per game marked his lowest scoring average since his second year in the league.
Yep.
So if there's a reason why you're bringing Russ over to this team, yes, because of his pace, because of his aggression in which he can play, but also because of that mentality. And now what LeBron James has in his back pocket, instead of LeBron James always having to be that cop to try to push AD or when he's not around to get AD to see the bigger picture, now you have guys like Russell Westbrook. Now you guys have like Rondo. I'm not taking any accountability away from Russell Westbrook for Russell Westbrook because he does have accountability for that. But I like the leadership and that mentality he brings to this team.
I have no problem with it, but I think that Russell Westbrook is a plus, not a minus, and I applaud his mentality. I love his fire. Y'all know that. What I would tell you is that the focus right now has to be on Anthony Davis in this regard. Russell Westbrook talked about it, and maybe it was because it was a question thrown to him by the media, and we understand that. Anthony Davis has literally had about 50 injuries in his career. 50. Anthony Davis has missed about 155 games in his career. Where I stand is that somewhere along the line, when Russell Westbrook talks about him turning it up, Anthony Davis had to acknowledge that's something you didn't do in the past. And that's where we get to Anthony Davis. What possible excuse could you have? What did I say last year? When I was concerned about the Lakers, they were walking around town because, as you know, I do get to L.A.
Quite often
these days, okay?
We know. You're bi-coastal. You're fancy. We know.
I do get to L.A.
Everyone, Stephen A. has multiple homes. We know.
No. I'm just saying, all I'm saying, I ain't going all that. I'm just telling you I frequent L.A.
Oh,
and I love it. I mean, I play the song I Love L.A. every morning. I mean, I just do.
Geez.
Okay, here's the deal. You won the title. What were you doing in the offseason? You see, at moments like this, as critical as we can be of LeBron James from time to time, this is when we need to step back and pay homage to LeBron. This is why he's on the Mount Rushmore, to the Kobes, to the MJs or whatever. They're the marquee. They're the headline. And there's an innate internal responsibility that they feel to answer the call. So it's not just about my ability. It's about making sure that I'm in shape. It's about making sure that I maximize my potential and that I'm ready for all comers as an individual because everyone's looking at me. And my response to that is, how could you have a teammate like LeBron that just helped deliver you your first title ever? And I'm not insulting Anthony Davis. I'm asking a question because it's something that I would ask him to his face. If you didn't do all you could physically to have yourself in peak condition, how could you allow that to happen to you when you know you playing with a champion? You playing with a guy that the bullseye is perpetually on his back. How could you have that slippage? And so it's great that Russell Westbrook is there. Russell Westbrook's chasing the ring too now. But we've never looked at Russell Westbrook and said durability is an issue, conditioning's an issue. Only time we ever question Russell Westbrook's conditioning in his career is when the brother came down with COVID.
I agree with you. I say I agree with you to an extent.
Okay.
But I do want to provide you some cover on this.
Please.
The last 2 seasons have been condensed seasons and they've been quick turnarounds.
Okay.
So for AD's body, I hear what you're saying.
Right.
Some of the things that I've heard about training and taking that seriously in the offseason, putting on that flexibility, that weight, body muscle-wise. But there is something to be said about playing the amount of games they played in those condensed times and the time they've had off in between.
You know what? And I'll throw this back at you. I know LeBron is a freak of nature.
Yeah.
But I would be pretty embarrassed if a dude that is older than me is consistently in better shape than me when we have the same profession. That would bother me.
Well, that's luck, though, Stephen A. too now.
Again, I'm not talking. Injuries happen. I'm talking about conditioning. I'm talking about you roll up in and you ready. Last year, you know he wasn't. You covered the NBA. You know he wasn't ready at the start. And that's on him. And I love Anthony Davis. Love Anthony Davis. He's one. I think Anthony Davis has the potential to be, he is one of the all-time greats. He truly is. And he's a great player, great guy. All I'm trying to say is that you got to know when LeBron James is your teammate, that brother is likely going to need you as the season wanes because he's expecting to go deep in the playoffs. You got to be ready, man. You got to be ready. And last year, a few Lakers were not ready.
Agreed. I agree with you on that.
And that is inexcusable when LeBron James is your teammate because if nothing else, physically, that brother is going to be ready.
Was an all-time high in injuries last season for a lot of players. That's all.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay. I'm not talking about just last year.
No.
And LeBron talked about that too, the short offseason. You're 100% right. Warriors at Lakers, October 19th, this time with Klay Thompson. And obviously, Russ will be on the court. Can't wait. Lakers.
Now, your name is Carmelo Anthony. Everybody knows you as Melo. And if for those who do know you, you truly can be very, very mellow. Nothing's ever too high. Nothing's ever too low. You seem as even keel as most people are not. Is that who you truly are, or is that just a facade that you put forth to get you through some of the tough times that you're going to allude to in this memoir?
Yeah, well, it's not a facade. It is, that's who I am at my core.
Right.
I think my upbringing and what I had to deal with in different experiences that I had to, go through, it made me get to that point where I'm super mellowed out and just, relaxed and just, I would say at peace. It's a peace. That's a great feeling to have. Some people call it, too mellow, but I say stay mellow at the end of the day. So I had to get to this point. It took a lot of work, for me to get to this point where, like you said, I'm just at even kill.
When do you believe you got to that point where you were even kill, where you were mellow, where you just embraced life as what it is, not too high, not too low, and something that you would just pile your way through? When do you believe you got to that point?
I would say over the past couple years. And I had to really, experience being out the league and kind of just hitting, rock bottom, so to say, in personal life, professional life. And I had to experience that. So I had to crawl my way out of that. I had to dig my way out of that darkness. So seeing that and being a part of that and experiencing that, seeing the other side of that where I'm at now, I'm definitely at peace, knowing what I had to go through and what I experienced.
When you went through it, you talk about the 2018-2019 season, 10 games in, the Houston Rockets decide to let you go. You're talking about having questions as to whether or not you were ever going to be in this league again. Did you have questions at any point as to whether or not you belonged in the league? I didn't, but and a whole bunch of your contemporaries certainly didn't have those questions about you. But did you have those questions about yourself at that particular moment in time?
Nah, I never doubted that. I never thought about should I be in this league or do I still belong in this league. I had to really kind of do the knowledge on the business of the league and the business of basketball and sports and people and just kind of taking it into another perspective than I had before. Before it was just playing basketball and doing what I do and being the face of multiple organizations. You didn't really think too much about anything. So, but now I got a newfound perspective on just the way that the game is supposed to be played, the business of the game, and just what I want out of it. I think I took back control of my own self and my own game and my own career to a point where I can have a different perspective now and a new outlook on things.
How helpful was some people along the way? And by that, I mean, I'm thinking about a guy like a Russell Westbrook that you played with in Oklahoma City, and people keep sleeping on the kind of businessman that he is and some of the big things he's doing off the basketball court as well. You've played with guys like him. Obviously, you've been friends with LeBron James, D. Wade, Chris Paul. You've been in Portland with a guy like Damian Lillard, who's been doing big things throughout his career. How helpful were those individuals in helping you reach that point?
Well, it was good, but I respect all of those guys for what they bring, and not just on the court, but off the court as well, and what they're into, what they're creating. But for me, I had to carve out my own lane, and I've always felt like that. Even since I was younger, I had to carve my own lane and figure out who I was and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. and doing it my way. I think now, kind of just having that experience and being business minded now and seeing things from a different perspective, that's where I'm at. So because I had to do it, because I had to put the work in and do the work and talk to people and be comfortable with being uncomfortable and vulnerable, that's when I started to really discover who really and truly I am.
Let me transition to the basketball court because now you are a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. You've been back in the league for a couple of years, clearly reminding everybody of what the hell you can do on the basketball court. So there's no question about that now. Now you've gone from wondering whether you was going to be in the league to being back into the league to getting to the postseason to now being on a championship squad with championship expectations. That's the one thing that's eluded you in your entire illustrious career is a trip to the finals and obviously a championship. How are you feeling about being a member of the Los Angeles Lakers, even with everybody saying that y'all are the oldest team in the league, because y'all are?
Well, that's a fact. Ain't nobody saying nothing that's not a fact. We old as hell, Steve. You know that in basketball sense. But I just think that what we all bring to the table is a wisdom that a lot of people don't have. Like the way that we're going to be able to come together, hold each other accountable, have each other backs. We have the most knowledge on this one team than the whole NBA have, I think. So if we can't put that together and make something work, then that's on us. That's not on nobody else. And that's something that that I'm looking forward to. We all talk about it. We all discussed it. We know what's at stake. We're gonna have fun with this journey. We're gonna enjoy this journey. We're gonna embrace it. And I'm excited to do it, man, because before if I was just to walk away from the game before, then I'd have been at peace with that. I'd have been cool with that, knowing that, I tried to win a championship. It just don't work out for everybody. But now that perspective is totally different. Now I have to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So I know what that does. I know the pressure that put on us as a team, as an organization. But what other pressure did you want? What other pressure we want? We want to go out there. We want to target on our back.
Is that your way of saying this championship a bust for this Lakers team this year?
It gotta be. I mean, it have to be. Like there's no playing around with that.
Now you do know that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are in the same city, in the same arena for the Clippers. And on this side of town that you're very, very familiar with, Brooklyn, New York, there's KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. Some people will look at them and they say, that's what's standing in your way from winning the chip. To that you say what?
Maybe it is. I mean, I can't take nothing away from what Brooklyn has built and what the Clippers has built, and what you can't take away what Milwaukee has done either. So everybody's getting better. Nobody's saying it's going to be easy, but this might be one of the most exciting seasons of the NBA in a long time. A lot of the teams have gotten better. They added pieces to their core group of guys. But I'm speaking on us. I only can speak on what we got to do and what we going.